show. My name is Chris Whitcoe, and I'm here to take you through the news, what's going on. We've got interviews. We're going to show you some yoga poses. We're going to talk about different things, hopefully bringing awareness and consciousness to your life, to your health, to yourself, and to the planet. So sit back, enjoy, and have a great time. Let's go. So we got some peanut stuff going on in the news these days. Have you heard about what's going on with the salmonella contaminations?
Wow.
Yeah, so apparently there's salmonella getting in to the peanut butter. Not all peanut butter, but there's a specific lot that apparently was a pretty nasty batch of peanut butter, and people are getting sick all over the country.
Skippy, Peter Pan?
It's Peter Pan.
Okay.
As well as a few lots of some Walmart brand. It's all the same line, made by ConAgra. And what happened is salmonella is in there. People are being, So there's some stuff going on there. Now let's put it in perspective. Salmonella poisoning on chicken makes about 40,000 people sick a year.
Okay.
And as far as deaths are concerned, I think I remember the number being about 600 people die a year.
Chicken.
For chicken.
Okay.
For peanut butter, it's been like 39 reported sicknesses and no deaths.
Okay.
So putting in perspective, this is not as big of a deal as it seems to be made. However, we are making a big deal about it. So let's look at the peanut butter. Let's look at the peanut and see what's happening.
Okay.
What do you think about peanut butter?
Well, since I've learned last few years of what is natural fats and what's not natural fats, I should say, and how do you stuff refined versus raw in its natural state, I've heard a lot of anti-peanut stuff from the standpoint it's a fungus or a mold, there's
Right.
alpha toxins in there.
Interesting. Well, here's how I look at the whole peanut butter thing. If you're going to make peanuts, you're going to get all your peanuts in this conveyor belt, and you're going to take out the nice ones that look really good. And you're going to pick them apart, put them aside, and sell them as just whole peanuts.
Mm-hmm.
So people can buy them. Mm-hmm. What's left over, if it gets past that mark, and the stuff that still looks pretty good is going to go into your fancy cocktail peanuts. Your planters, the stuff that you pay a little bit for. Then if it starts to look a little bit questionable, then that's going to go into your lesser brand. The stuff that doesn't quite make the peanuts themselves,
Right.
that's going to get mixed up and put into candy bars and things like that.
Oh, okay.
And if it doesn't get through, if it's too nasty to even get through all those phases, it's just going to go to the end into a big barrel, and they're going to make peanut butter out of it. Why? Because peanuts are highly contaminated with fungus. It's one of the most highliest, that's a good word.
Yeah, holiest
contaminated products, because that's why they have to use lots of sprays.
Okay.
So peanuts and strawberries are highly sprayed.
Okay.
Why? Lots of fungus, lots of aflatoxin. People are very allergic to this
Okay.
fungus that grows on this peanut.
Readily abundant, they're growing on this.
Absolutely.
Spray.
So they're getting a lot of sprays whenever you eat any kind of peanut butter. You're going to get a lot of sprays. So what I personally feel is if you're going to like peanuts are actually not a bad food. The best part of the peanut is the wheat, is the heart, is the germ, right in the middle where all the real good nutrients are.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? They strip that out.
Oh.
Why do you think they do that?
They strip it out because that's probably what goes rancid or bad first, right?
Well, it's like anything else. It breaks down, just like it would break down the body and serve our body well with nutrients. Mm-hmm. It's also going to break down in the jar. And even though the shelf life would be 1 or 2 weeks with it, it's probably months without it. So they take it out. So they have to replace that fat and that oil with a different kind of fat and oil, and they replace it with hydrogenated oils, which, as we know, turn all the cellular membranes in your body, make them brittle. And that's not a good thing to have. You want to be fluid and flexible. So,
Brittle, huh?
So when you're looking at your peanut butter, look at what the ingredients are. Do they put hydrogenated oil in there? So the best peanut butter is going to be the kind that have 1, maybe 2 ingredients, peanut butter and maybe salt.
Yes.
I think a better choice, a more healthier choice, would clearly be almond butter or cashew butter.
Uh-huh.
Especially raw, especially organic, because now you're getting the true enzymatic, nutrient-dense food that our genetics design was meant for.
Without any, I guess, the toxic side effects, as you were talking about.
Exactly.
Is there a way, though, there are any peanuts that we can that are safe? Can we?
Oh, sure. I mean, you can get what are called wild jungle peanuts. Have you heard of wild jungle peanuts?
Sunfood.
Sunfood.com sells them, and they're really good. Apparently, they did testing on them. I don't know if this is true or not, but the people that are allergic to peanuts in general are not allergic to these wild jungle peanuts. So
excellent.
I've had them, and they're fantastic. I've actually made dishes out of them. They're really good. So if you're into peanut butter, you want to try something a little more different, try to get into a different space, a different viewpoint, try the wild jungle peanuts. Try almond butter, try cashew butter. It's a little more expensive, but you're going to pay one way. Either you're paying for wellness or you're paying for sickness. That's the way I look at it. What else is in the news? Check this out. Australia is looking at passing a law that's going to eliminate the light bulb. Why would you want to eliminate the light bulb? Well, they've got a light bulb that is 5 times more efficient than the kind they're using now. 5 times more efficient. They're saying in a few years they want all the light bulbs in the entire country to use these higher efficiency light bulbs.
The same effectiveness?
Actually, the exact same luminosity, the same lumens as what you have now, except it's not giving off the heat. So the heat is where you're wasting your electricity. Oh. Now, I did a little research, and I found from the U.S. Department of Commerce that 25% of all the electricity in the country is used to make light. So if you take 25% of your energy, and now you're 1/5 more efficient, you're using only 1/5 of that, you've just freed up 20% of your country's entire electrical energy need. How about that? So now you've got, what do you have? You have either cheaper electricity, or you can use more electricity without actually using up more electricity. So you can be more efficient. Okay. So I think that's just in changing light bulbs. You don't have to change lifestyle. You don't have to
do
anything different. You're not to give up light. You're getting the same luminosity. So what else is going on? So in New York City, a councilman has a daughter, and his daughter was concerned about the amount of caffeine that she was consuming because she was pregnant. Apparently you can have so much but not enough, and she didn't know how much she was consuming by drinking certain beverages. So this councilman in New York City wants to propose a law that says how much caffeine, not just the fact that there is caffeine in a certain food, but how much, which I think is interesting. However, I think that's a good idea and it's a great first step. But if you really look at food labeling, I think the biggest overall problem that we have is the amount of servings per container. That whole serving size is silly. I just drank a kombucha earlier today, and it said there were 2 servings in there. I drank the whole thing. I was not planning on drinking one today and drinking another one tomorrow. I was just going to drink the whole thing, and it said there were 2 servings in this little kombucha bottle, which is just silly. Mm-hmm. A bag of potato chips, which a person could just sit there and eat, is 5 servings. So when you're looking at the math and you have to sit there and go, well, it has 70 calories per serving, not too bad, but it's 2 servings or 5 servings. Mm-hmm. And the whole thing's just silly. The way I see it is what you have in the package should be labeled on the list of ingredients. It shouldn't be per serving. The whole serving concept is a commercial food lobbyist brownie point. It's got to be.
Brownie points. We'll give the brownie points award. First one, the commercial food lobbyist. The first brownie point.
Whoever they came up with the food servings per container.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Hoax.
It's a complete hoax. Because it totally throws you off. It should be what's in that package. Period. I don't care if it's 20 servings or 1 serving. Whatever's in that package, that's what should be labeled. And it's just so easy not to pick that up.
Well, gorillas, I find a lot of times when they take their bananas for the day, they look at the label, making sure they're getting around the calories and the potassium and stuff they need.
Protein.
I can only eat 10 of these in a serving because then I might get a little bloated.
Right on. That's great. Normally, when we think of dandelions, we think of a weed that we have to remove from our lawn. Well, not today. We're going to be interviewing a guy named Dandelion, and this dude is cool. So stay with us.
It's called a freak. They're doing it like today. Allow us, we'll show you the way. Freak out. It's a chic. Freak out.
Hello, welcome. This is Chris Whitcoe with New Leaf News, and this segment is called the Freak of the Week because we're all a little different and sometimes we just don't feel like we fit into the mainstream. That's okay because we're going to here to celebrate our own differences, and with me to do that today is our good friend, Dandelion. All right, Dandelion, welcome to the show.
Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How you doing?
Excellent. Really good. Happy to be here.
Good. That's awesome. So tell me, how'd you get the name Dandelion?
Well, I think it came from eating wild dandelions.
Really?
Yeah.
Where did you do that?
I discovered it with my good friend. We were in the mountains. He showed me I could eat them.
Okay.
It was nonstop. I couldn't stop.
So your friend showed you, like, how do you show someone how to eat a dandelion?
Just grabbed handfuls of them and just started chowing them down. And I had never known it before.
What did you think? You see this guy picking up grass. Now, what did you think before that? Did you have any idea that people did that kind of stuff?
No, I didn't. I thought it was just some, weed. Thought it was pretty when the yellow was out. But
Right.
it's like, he really surprised me. He really shocked me. I thought he was kind of crazy. He had a green mouth, smiling intensely, and kind of bitter to me at first, but they really caught on with me.
So did that enable your transition into becoming, a freak like we are today?
I think so, yeah. Now when I'm out in the wild and walking around just picking up wild edible greens off the ground, especially dandelions, surprises people. But then actually I've got quite a few people into it.
So
they do the same.
What does your family think? I mean, what did they think when you started eating? Did you go out on the lawn and they're like, wow, our lawn's so much nicer now. There's no more weeds.
Well, yeah, that was part of it. I tried to convince my mom to let the whole lawn die, actually, at her house.
Really?
Let dandelions take over.
Wow. So, when you go back, what do you eat? Nothing but dandelions, or what?
No, it's kind of like a little extra for me.
Mm-hmm.
I eat a really wide variety of food.
Okay.
But it's just, it's really vital though when I get that wild dandelion, especially in the mountains. I don't really prefer them in the city.
Okay.
Yeah, might not be as clean, but when they're in the mountains, yeah.
Can you tell the difference between like a city dandelion and a wild mountain dandelion?
Yeah, maybe,
Really?
but it's hard to say because you might be taking in the fresh air and everything in the mountains too, enhancing it. But I just feel more comfortable with the mountain ones.
Oh, fantastic. So, what are you doing here? Why did you come out to...
Well, I came for a spiritual organic garden apprenticeship.
Okay.
Because I want to learn everything I can about gardening to spread it. Because there's a lot of people interested. They just need a little encouragement.
That's awesome.
And,
So when you think about what you're going to be doing, what is that? What does that look like to you?
It looks like starting mainly with all my friends.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of them that have backyards ready to go.
Okay.
So they're in family, my older brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
They got kids that are ready to be gardeners.
So you're going to go back home and basically show people how to take their little plots of land and do something fantastic with it.
Show them how amazing it can be and how much you can get in such a little space.
Now, why would anybody want to do that?
Because homegrown tomatoes
Aren't
taste
you
the best.
afraid people are going to say, this guy is just a freak? What's up with this?
Yeah, it takes a little adjustment for them, but usually people catch on pretty quick.
Now, you seem very, very calm and centered with who you are being outside of the whole mainstream group.
Yeah.
Has that taken a while to fall into that?
Well, it started quite a while back, and I just decided if I had to, I'd go it alone.
Okay.
But then I found out I didn't have to. Sometimes you just go and do it, and then people are surprised and see that they can too.
Okay.
So for a minute, the outcast, and then actually become, center of attention.
Now, was it ever, in your experience, did it ever look like, you were the kind of the cool guy because you were just completely rejecting everything that the mainstream society stands for?
It could be. I never intended it that way, I always did it just because it made me feel good. It seemed right.
Okay.
Any aspect of changing my, live it rather than a diet.
Yeah, live it. So what other things in your philosophy do you besides food, how else does that affect your life?
Well, I think in basically every aspect, but it does play a powerful part, and it was kind of at the same time a big transition. Lots of spirituality, groundedness, loving, sharing, and a lot of fun.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. That's great. Having fun is what it's all about.
It's always my goal. I figure time flies whether you're having fun or not. You better have fun.
Well, you look at all the things you can be negative about,
Mhm.
all the things you can complain about, but yet there's so much abundance out there
Oh,
to
yeah.
just enjoy and to live.
Yeah, there is no shortage.
That's right. So, when you go back home for Thanksgiving, what's that like?
Oh, well, Thanksgiving used to be a challenge.
Okay.
Yeah, the family had really criticized me,
Really?
asked me what my problem was.
Oh,
you
okay.
know.
Now, how long ago was this?
Right about when I, quit eating meat, went vegetarian, a little over 10 years ago.
Okay, all right.
And everyone wanted me to come to the family gatherings, and
Sure.
I did. And then I was the center of attention in a way I didn't feel comfortable. So,
Okay, explain that. What do you mean by that?
just, it seemed like the whole conversation revolved around, why can't you eat what we're eating? What's your
Right,
problem?
right.
And so a couple years not going, then it kind of really changed, and they started centering the food around having lots of vegetarian dishes,
Okay,
and
awesome.
non-meat dishes, and food.
So they basically tried to sway you from your position when that didn't work.
Yes.
And they saw that you were serious, that maybe provoked,
Mhm.
invoked something in them.
Yeah.
And then they started to really kind of want to know more.
Yeah.
Now, do you find people asking you a lot of questions about their health, maybe?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
Okay.
and surprisingly enough, the main family where we were having these Thanksgiving dinner is now vegetarian.
you're kidding me?
No.
Do you think it has anything to do with
Actually,
What you've been doing?
kind of, like you said, being strict with it, or not strict, but just the dedication to it and the straightforward.
holding your own center?
Exactly, and I think that was the key, actually, in inspiring that it can be done.
That's great. So now you're going to go back into your community again, just like you did with
Yes.
your family, and try to bring some awakeness, some
Yeah.
consciousness.
Yeah,
To-
that, a lot of positivity,
Right,
encouragement.
right.
Yeah.
So do you have any? Where are you going back to? Where are you from?
Salt Lake City,
Okay.
Utah.
So do you have any plans specifically? What can people expect to see?
Oh,
in the future?
they can expect to see a lot of heirloom organic seeds going in their garden.
Super.
A lot of love.
Now, why heirloom? I've heard this, heirloom versus the other ones.
We figured they're the ancient, strong seed that was more natural.
Okay.
It's not the hybridization, which usually it's actually just more healthy. And then me and my friend in our garden found that it grows better and less pests can get to it.
Okay.
Healthy soil, healthy plant, there's no pest problem.
So
They're not pests.
right. You like to live with
Yeah.
the pest somehow.
Yeah.
Are there techniques you can use to kind of get rid of pests or kind of deal with
Yeah.
them in a more effective and natural
Yeah,
way?
it's there's different ways you can go about it, but you can do a total veganic gardening, you're not using any animal manure or anything. And there's a really great product, effective microorganisms,
Okay, I've heard about that.
that it can really it doesn't hurt the insects in any way. It just encourages them to go away,
That's awesome.
go somewhere else.
So we talk a lot about organic. You were telling me earlier that you could taste the difference between
Oh, yeah.
organic and non-organic foods.
Yeah, I both tasted the flavors there, and this is something that you become more sensitive to over time, both being vegetarian, vegan, and then especially live food,
Right.
rather than raw food, because I do not eat raw fish or raw meat,
Right.
because they're not alive, they're
Not
dead.
alive, sure.
So live food diet, yeah, and so the flavors there, and then actually it's just how I can feel it. Actually, my body's that sensitive.
So you can,
I can
feel
feel it.
the pesticides. You can feel the residues. You can feel.
Yeah.
I think so. You're in tune-
Unfortunately, that's the problem with going to the Thanksgiving dinner still, even though they're vegan style, even if they make it raw, it still doesn't satisfy me as much
So you're gonna like.
because of the non-organic. So now I got to get them to make it organic for me.
All right.
It's the next
right on.
step.
So you're taking it easy though with them. You're not
Yeah.
kind of forcing all.
Still go, take it, because I do like to be a little social about
Sure.
things. But in a lot of ways, I won't make exceptions. I won't eat anything that has been cooked, and I won't eat anything that's not vegan.
Okay. So
Pretty
you're
much.
getting fresh
Yeah.
vegetables, fruits.
And then this is the
Seasons.
new perseverance that they're
Okay.
going to see,
All right.
and might be more inspiration like it was last time.
That's awesome.
And for me, it's just it's a necessity. The energy I get from it, the happiness, just feeling better than ever. Every step was kind of the same way. Starting
Right,
with the vegetarian, then vegan, and having more energy than ever. It's amazing.
So
Feeling better than I was when I was 17.
okay, right on. So
Yeah.
do you feel when you're like with other people who aren't? Do you hang out with people who are
Yeah.
like kind of
Yeah.
quote unquote normies?
Yeah, I have friends that, they'll eat fast food and, meat, whatever, and I don't judge people or hold anything against that, but I'll continue to be a good example for them and encouragement, but I'm going to love them either way.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So do you find yourself, your energy levels are different? Do you feel like you just got more energy than you?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I find too.
Sleep about 6 hours a night, get tons of good reading done, documentary films, lots of fun stuff. And,
okay, cool.
And when I play sports, it's really incredible at my energy level.
Okay.
I walked 20 miles to get here from Nogales.
Really?
I really did.
No kidding.
Dropped off all my stuff the night before, took the rental car back, and there was no ride available, so I took it as a sign that I needed to get some exercise and really dig in, test myself, push it to the next level. A little over 4 hours. I was walking pretty fast. I had a good pace, maybe 4.5.
It takes me that long to get through traffic sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, and I got to enjoy some stars, owls, rabbits running around.
So you did it at night, in the evening?
Yeah, it was starting when the sun went down, so I got a nice sunset.
So what time did you get here?
Let's see, I think about 9 in the evening, 9, 10 o'clock.
Wow, that's awesome. I did not know
Started
that.
there about 5.
Amazing.
A lot of fun.
So what are some of the things you love to do?
Getting out in nature is one of my favorite things, wild nature. Parks are great, it's good for in the city, but I actually like it wild, up in the mountains, hiking. I do mountain biking, It's a really positive thing.
And you said you like to read a lot.
Oh yeah, reading. Actually, yeah, I always take a book with me, park or stop my hike halfway up there in some magnificent spot. Do some fabulous reading. And then reading in the evening, anytime I can, actually.
Right.
There's so much good stuff to read.
What are you reading now?
Right now I'm reading, let's see, it's always about 4 books,
Okay.
about the same time. I'm reading a book on Plato, Nikola Tesla, a book called Mysteries that just gets into really interesting magical things, because there's a lot of magic in the world,
That's awesome.
And so I'm really diving into that. And let's see, what else am I reading? Sometimes there's so many of them I kind of forget, And, I'm reading Secrets of the Soil, a really powerful book.
That's going to help you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I try to just really overwhelm myself with positive stuff, different angles,
Right.
lots of different things. And I don't grasp onto anything. I like just to read, take in a whole bunch, and not even worry about it. And then what needs to be is in there.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So you grew up really in a music store, you were saying.
Yeah, it was a wonderful opportunity.
How has that influenced your life?
Oh wow! To get to listen to all those independent artists in the especially back in the '60s and '70s, they were writing their own music. They were the message was theirs,
Right.
And they still sold 1 million albums sometimes, so they could get it out there. But besides that, I got to listen to the albums that really never made it, and there was incredible talent coming out over all the years. However, I date back from Louis Armstrong in the '20s to music that comes out this year. There's no limit. Every category, everything. And then that was really good for me too. Broadened my interests, really made things diverse. At one point I burned out of listening to the same 3 bands, and then I just totally went the other way.
Okay, all right.
Looked into everything.
Do you think the music of the '60s has a message for us today? Do you think there's some similar patterns?
Yeah, there's a lot of timeless messages there about peace and love, and really same thing, being in tune with nature, anything, looking into yourself. There was a lot of love and harmony, maybe driven from the situations of the times and the dynamics that were going on. A lot of music changed in the mainstream. There's definitely a lot of music that powerful today. You kind of got to dig for it deeper. It's usually not promoted on the big level as it was then. Yeah. But, it was a fabulous opportunity. And then besides that, all the variety of people I got to meet that are the music lovers that came into the store.
So
all
you've been
ages
dealing
people.
with freaks for many.
I wanted to make a documentary at the record store because it was fabulous in that way. All walks of life from all countries, actually.
That's
Great
awesome.
variety.
What city was that in?
It was Salt Lake City also.
Okay. That's awesome.
Towards downtown, so got the whole crowd there.
Fantastic.
Travelers coming through. A lot of and we actually sold the real records, not just CDs, but actual, the large black spinning vinyl.
Right on.
And it's analog, and it's got real frequencies in it. It's really powerful.
Wow.
And I had a great time explaining things to people, explaining how records worked and everything like that. And then, so that really got into me inspiration that teach positive stuff and help, people understand concepts that aren't really that complicated if they're just put the right way.
Did you ever talk somebody out of like an album that they wanted, like Jack Black did in the movie High Fidelity? You don't want my album. I'm sorry.
Sometimes I was a little too honest on things, and because I like to see people, maybe investing in good things and getting the best stuff. But at the same time, I really respect other people's diversities. Just like me, I've never found anyone that likes all the things I like.
Sure.
So,
Well, I'll tell you what, I respect you for coming on the show.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. And listen, good luck
great.
with what you're doing in Salt Lake City.
Thank
I think
you
that's
so much.
fantastic. And together we can all work to raise the consciousness by just doing each little thing as we do these little itty-bitty things in our own lives and around the people around us. The consciousness is awakening. So
exactly.
I hope you enjoyed this interview as
I
much
sure
as we did.
It was fun.
And I'll see you. Good luck, man.
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day.
Hi, I'm David Rain. I'm at the Tree of Life Rejuvenation Center. I'm here to present you with the thought of the week. We always judge in the present moment whether things are good or bad. Something happens and we say, oh crap, this thing happened and now things are all messed up. But what we find as we look back over time actually is that the things that we thought were bad actually turn out to be really good. There's a nice Zen story about this. There's a farmer who has a son and they have a horse and the horse ends up running away. And the farmer says, oh no, this is horrible, my horse has run away. And a few days later, the horse returns, but it comes back with a mare with it. And he says, oh, this is so good, I've got this mare. And his son gets on the mare to try to break it, and goes out riding on it, and the son falls off the horse, and breaks his leg and can't work on the farm anymore. And the farmer says, oh no, this is horrible, now my son can't work, what's going to happen? But there happens to be a war in the region, and the general comes by to round up all the young men for war, but the son can't go off to war because he has a broken leg. And the farmer says, oh, this is so great, my son doesn't have to go to war, he gets to stay here with me. And so the point of the story is that we don't really know whether things actually turn out to be good or bad. And you can give yourself a lot of peace in the present moment, and a lot of faith in the events that happen in your life by looking back and seeing that the things that happened that you initially thought were bad actually turned out to create a chain of events that made things really good in your life. So do that today. Look back in time and see those things that you thought were bad which actually turned out to be really good, to give yourself a little more solidity and a little more faith in events as they're unfolding for you in the present moment.
Warrior 1, yoga means union. So anytime you're uniting with something inside of you or someone or anything at all, anytime you feel united, anytime you feel connected, then you would be practicing yoga. Because it doesn't matter. There's nowhere to get to. It's just a tool. It's going to be there all the time. It's never going to get used up. You'll never burn it out. It's always there. Right? Okay, so this is Warrior 1. Vita Vajrasana A. And in this asana, one of the main things you want to be aware of as far as alignment goes is the front foot, the instep of the front foot is going to line up with the back heel. Okay, this is very important information because if this does not happen, the hips are not aligned properly. And this asana is a hip opener. The other important thing is we want to press the outside of the back foot, which by the way is at about 45 degrees. Okay, so we're going to press the outside of the back foot into the mat. This is going to anchor us. It's going to give us our space, and now we're going to hold space. This is what evolution's all about, holding space. Okay, so everything that we do, every practice that we engage in our life is always going to be about practicing holding space. This knee is going to be wanting to press out over the ankle. This is very important to, again, keep the hip in line with the knee in line with the ankle, which is the next point. We want the knee over the ankle. So the tendency is to have too much space, So if that happens, you just want to move your back leg in a little bit. And this is going to be important because the next thing that's key, because it's a hip opener, is the hips. What are you doing in your hips? This is what's happening. Depending on what leg is forward, right now my right leg is forward, so I'm going to be moving my left hip forward and my right hip back. This way my hips in Warrior One want to be squared to the front of the room. Squared, right? Knee in line with ankle, in line with hip, both sides, okay? Then we want to slightly tuck our tailbone so that we're not collapsing in the lower back. This is very, very important. The tendency in all asana is to collapse in the lower back. Okay? Very, very, very key. Because when we collapse in the lower back, this is actually creating the opposite of what we want in this asana as a hip opener. When we collapse in the lower back, we cause the hip flexors to contract. It's the complete opposite of what we're looking for. So, these are the important things in Warrior One, okay? And you breathe. Whether the arms are up, whether the arms are in front, or whether they're down by your sides. It doesn't matter. The point is, you want to breathe. Because any asana that you're not breathing in, there's stuck energy. There's contraction. So there isn't fluidity, and there's no union, and therefore there's no yoga. So, have a great day in Warrior One!